to make me feel good. It's a trap. My parents were extremely loving, but they never accepted me. I felt like I was always trying to be changed. I found it really hard for me to accept myself. Man, who am I? I don't belong here, I don't belong there, and it's just this disconnect from the world. I had a spiritual awakening. A lightning is striking my head. I don't see reality the same. And I start bursting in tears. I'm like, holy shit, who am I? Like, what's happening? And I'm just crying in my van in the street. And like, COVID hit. And I lost all my clients. I was like, oh no. At that time, that was the best thing that could have happened. Losing everything again and having nothing to lose. What plant medicine does to me is strips all the layers of my illusion. Everything I was living was an illusion. Layers and layers of illusions. You're basically shifting everything that's not you. Your ego is going to be exposed to you. Your self-judgment, your critical thinking about yourself, it just mirrors to you. And I'm like, why am I treating myself this way? Why am I holding on to these beliefs? Always follow the path of least resistance. If you feel good, you can create anything from feeling good, because everything is going to be a vibrational match. I feel like the best way for us to be able to create the life we desire from a place of joy, grace, and excitement.
Iggy Garcia, welcome to the Deeply Aligned podcast.
My pleasure, man.
Pleasure
Good to be here.
Pleasure having you here, man. Pleasure having you here. So I figured we'd kickstart with a very deep question from our dear friend Ray. He's doing nightly ritual, sitting with his diary and asking himself these questions, and that was one he brought from his podcast episode to the next guest. So it goes: beyond borrowed beliefs from others and social conditioning, beyond external expectations, what do you truly want? And in reflection of this question, ask yourself, how did I create this? How am I creating this? And how would I create this?
So if I'm going to strip all of the layers, all of it, I would say what I truly want is a spiritual revolution. I want to see sovereign beings, harmony, and the fall of the government.
I'm with you.
I really want to see the fall of a system that controls people and have people being in control of themselves through sovereignty. There's this saying from a guy called Mark Pasteur where he says, we need to find internal monarchy and external anarchy. There is no power outside of ourselves, and we are our own monarchy. And I think that would be the path of creating heaven on earth, through creating heaven within ourselves. How am I creating this? I believe the first thing is by being myself and showing myself for who I truly am and standing for what I believe in. I do that by empowering leaders to step up, and they can help more people into this journey of ultimate freedom. Freedom of expression, freedom from pain, freedom from the matrix. So I find my gift in helping people who are helping others. And what was the second question or third?
It's in the past, it's in the present, and it's in the future, right? How did I create this?
Mm-hmm.
How am I creating this? And how would I create this going forward?
So how did I create this? I think was making bold decisions in my life and listening to my gut and listening to my heart. And that's what brought me to Bali, and I think my journey, my life journey really started to unfold here. Before it was all exploration. By stepping into the unknown and, going through my fears and doing and showing up. I've mentioned how I am doing it now and how I would like to do it. Good question. I believe the only way that I can do is for me to be the most sovereign, the most powerful, the most authentic version of myself. And through that, I can use all of that to empower others so we can all live in harmony. Everything that I wish for myself, I wish for others. So all the freedom, all the power, all of the liberation and authenticity that I seek within me, I wish everyone can have the same. I love this question.
Love the answers, man. Love the answers. Yeah, you talk about sovereign and the freedom of expression as well, right? Like being ourselves and only to impact others. It's embodying that ourselves and leading by example. I know you said this once upon a time, like basically the first night we met on New Year's, I think. And I really loved it. It's still fresh in my memory. You said like, I believe that we who are living on this island, this paradise island, are the chosen ones. Tell us what you mean about that.
It's not from an ego place, I am the chosen one, but it's more from a sense of responsibility. I feel like my life is so good that I need to find the challenges that I want to have in my life. We're always going to have challenges, right? Mm-hmm. So I feel an immense amount of responsibility. I have so much that now, how can I give back into the world? I am the chosen one to really step in. And it's incredible because your life journey, what you're here to experience is always going to be exciting because you chose that. So in that sense, I'm the chosen one because I've chosen this journey of really empowering others to be everything that they can be. And with that comes an immense amount of responsibility. And I feel like I have, but I choose not to have time to waste or distractions because I am on a mission. And I haven't created the mission, I'm just following that path of the mission and see how that unfolds.
Yeah. Let's backtrack a bit on your story of, you said things really changed when you came to Bali. Let's dig into that. How did life look like a couple of years before Bali, and what took you here, so to speak?
So I was born and raised in Brazil. And I had a very loving family. And I always say this, my parents were extremely loving, but they never accepted me. I felt like I was always trying to be changed. So it's that thing of, I'm sure there's going to be millions of people that resonate with that, the black sheep. Yeah. So it was not having acceptance from my family. I found really hard for me to accept myself. So when I was 18, I moved to Australia. I stayed there for a couple of years, went back to Brazil. I was like, man, who am I? Like, I don't belong here, I don't belong there, and it's just this disconnect from the world. And I was seeking freedom. At that age, I was like about 22. So I didn't have much consciousness and, I'm figuring out who I am.
Just a 22-year-old.
Yeah. And drinking a lot, like partying a lot. My life was party. So I decided to go to the UK and work on a hostel. And a hostel is slash a bar. And that's where my journey really began. So I had to leave home again. And
oh, come on in. We're getting some fresh orange juice here. Yes, thank you.
Are we going to have all this in the camera?
Yeah, why not? It's good with rehydration. If you're watching this podcast, make sure to hydrate. Fresh orange juice or fresh coconuts. Only in Bali, though. Probably. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, so lost in your, not lost, but how we are in our youth. We
Yeah.
still looking to find ourselves and find out our paths going forward.
Yeah. So for my whole life, the whole sense is that there was something missing in my life. And I was traveling the world seeking what was missing. And I traveled to many, many countries, about 30 countries. I lived in 8 or 7 different countries. And I could never find it. You know, I had extremely social anxiety. And that's why I would go to parties and I would get so drunk, because that was the only way I could feel comfortable around people. I couldn't be myself. I was extremely uncomfortable. I was extremely self-conscious.
Do you know back then what you were looking for? You didn't really know what you were looking for. You were looking for some kind of missing piece that you didn't even know what the piece was.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think deep inside, we're all looking for happiness. We're looking to love and accept ourselves. The way I used to look at self-love and acceptance was through self-confidence. So, you know, you're watching like how to be more charismatic. It's all external. So I didn't find it the places I was looking for. Bars, clubs, you know, hostels. You know, the traveling was helpful.
Mm.
It was the beginning of it. There was a lot of contemplation. I used to do a lot of solo traveling and wild camping in cities. Like I would go to Stockholm and I would look for a park and I would camp at the park. So I was just doing some crazy stuff and exploring, you know, my boundaries in different places. And then I started to surf a lot. I moved to Portugal and then I started getting into surfing. And I felt that was a huge part of me. I've always wanted to surf, but I never did as a child. So I was slowly starting to start to finding myself, spending time in the ocean, nature, and surfing. And then I started to travel around the world looking for waves. Eventually, it's funny how one thing leads to the other. Eventually, I ended up in Bali. All I knew about Bali was it's good for surfing.
That's good waves.
That's all I knew. And so I came here, I was like, all right, yeah, Bali, good surf.
Yeah.
So much more to it. So I stayed here for 6 months. And at that point, I ran out of money. So, you know, I just saved up, came to Bali, come work here. I didn't know how to make an online income back then. So I decided to go to Australia. And that was very logical thinking. I was like, I'm just going to have a normal life. I'm going to study carpentry. I will become a carpenter. And yeah, Australia's not bad. You know, you have surf, you have nature, and good salaries. And it was crazy, man. The moment I go to Australia, I spend a ton of money to get there because, you know, you need to have a student visa.
Yeah.
Everything costs a lot of money to move to Australia. So I go to Australia. I buy a van within 3 days there, and I was like, I'm gonna live in this van. I'm saying that I want to have a normal life, but right away I'm being guided to like a completely different direction. And I get a part-time job in a bar. So I'm working on the weekends in a bar. I'm like, look, push through it and study. I didn't do the carpentry course or anything, but I started to study about online income, Amazon shopping, drop shipping, all of that, and surfing. So it was like nature, studying, working on the bar on the weekends. But it was crazy because within a few weeks in Australia, I had a spiritual awakening. And I spoke about that in another podcast with James. I can't remember what that book was, but I remember the moment I finished that book, it was like a lightning is striking my head, and I don't see reality the same. And I start bursting in tears. I'm like, holy shit, who am I? Like, what's happening? And I'm just crying in my van in the street. Like, yeah, like I'm literally parked in the street where I could get some Wi-Fi from a place that had the Wi-Fi. And the only big realization I had at the moment is that I wanted to come back to Bali. I was like, most free. I was so complete here. And that was it. So I stayed in Australia for a few more months with the mentality I'm gonna figure out how to make an online income, and I'll move to Bali. And that's what I did. And that was almost 7 years ago now. 6 years.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And you mentioned one of your most important values
Mm.
is really freedom and being sovereign.
Mm.
Would you explain to people how you see those things? Why is that so important to you? How do you see it?
I don't know why that is so important to me, but I just feel like if you don't have freedom, you don't have anything. Nothing matters. I feel I've always been this person who values freedom. As a child, I was a free kid. I don't like control. I've never asked myself why freedom is so important, but it feels like it's just inherently in me, and I believe us as childs of God, children of God, is I feel like that's our birthright. You know, it's just right. You are free. No one should have control over you.
Mm.
And the more free we can be, the more we can explore. And I think that is where expansion comes, and you can be everything that you are here to be if you are free. I think that's the path.
Exactly. I see it as the foundation for, like you say, exploration and having the opportunity to find out not only what you're truly interested and passionate about, but maybe on a grander scheme, what's your mission, purpose here in life on a soul level,
Mm.
which, and that's another topic in itself, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So at that point, you come to Bali, you decided that you want to make money online and you're on that track. And I know your story that you've gone into the agency path
Mm-hmm.
of helping other coaches
Mm.
set up automations and funnels and all that.
We had a very similar path there, right?
We did. Walk me through your mindset through that journey of the challenges, the lessons,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, how it unfolded.
Man, it feels like when you come to Bali and you decide that you will stay here, you're putting to test. When you are in that phase, you meet so many people who are going through the same test.
Yeah, there's no lack of like-minded people in that way. People wanting to gain freedom through an online business.
Yeah. And it was a tough journey for me. I was not prepared to be a business owner. And that was the truth. You know, when you go into it, there's so much more. You know, when you are a business owner, you are the business.
Yeah.
What are your beliefs? What's your mindset? What do you eat? How much do you sleep? What do you do in your free time? You know, you come with an employee mind and you want to run a business and you want to like have no risks, and you know, you think you can serve 4 or 5 hours a day. And so I had a lot of hard lessons and there was a lot of challenges, but I always say to people who want to come to Bali and do this, there's 2 tips. So people want to come to Bali and they want to have an online income and have a freedom lifestyle. There's 2 things that I would do differently. First, I would have a job on the side. Don't come here and then you create a business because you need the money. Create a business because you want to create something good to the world, and have a source of income that is maintaining you. So this way you create out of abundance. I came here, I love to be like, I quit everything and I'm going to Bali. It's a beautiful story, but it's tough.
Yeah.
So that is the first thing. Second thing, I was only able to create the life I've created today because I had no plan B.
Mm.
And I had no choice of having a plan B. I was like, I am making this happen. There is no other option. I will find a way. And that was, if I look back, that is the only way I was able to push through. There was no plan B.
I agree. I resonate with that too, where like you say, lesson one there, it's good to have a little bit of safety net in the sense of like you have some savings or you have a side job where you can be in a more regulated nervous system and operate a little bit more from abundance rather than scarcity. Maybe not abundance, but at least not fully in scarcity. Like, I need you, client, to get money. Then you're very quickly selling for the wrong reason. And number two, like you say, it's also good though that you have burned the boats in a sense of like you're all in. Same with me. It's not until I went all in that everything shifted. And it sounds like that was what happened for you as well.
Yeah. Now, the tough thing is that when, through a lot of hard lessons, when things start to pick up and I'm working with clients and I'm also not just in a salary, but there is a percentage on revenue on the sales that we're making. I was like, oh, we started doing the maths. I'm like, man, there's a lot of money to be made here. And fuck yeah, let's go. COVID hit. And I lost all my clients. I was like, oh no. Which was funny that at that time, that was the best thing that could have happened. It was tough at the moment, but the best thing that could have happened was losing everything again and having nothing to lose. So, yeah.
What do you think? What do you think that resulted in? Like going into losing everything. Is that like a good blank slate in a way of like you have time to reflect and reconsider? Like, were you going down the right path before? And can you now create a better path that has more pieces, that is really more in alignment, deeply aligned business?
Exactly. I feel like I was just doing what was bringing money. Yeah, it was marketing, and they were mostly tourist-based companies. So what are you going to do if you have a travel agency during COVID? You're the first ones to shut down. That totally led me into a journey of alignment. So I jumped really hard at that time on Facebook ads, which was a great move because everyone moved online. Everyone moved to Facebook ads. It got a bit too much at some point. But yeah, I started working with coaches. I barely knew that that's what I wanted to do, but I was like, if I'm going to do something, I want to do something that feels good in my heart. I have this set of skills. I'm not a coach myself, and I'm not a healer. I was, but I wouldn't accept my gifts. I'm not good enough to do any of this stuff. So then I started finding clients who had established coaching companies and yoga schools, and everyone started to move online. So all of a sudden, my biggest fear, which was losing what I had created, all of a sudden I'm like, cool, I help coaches to grow their online business through a marketing agency, Facebook ads, funnels, and so on. And everyone was going online. And there was not enough people serving those coaches. Then I'm like, thank you. Thank you. That's
the universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, taking those skills that you gained over the years through the marketing agency, it's still sort of the same skills, even though it's going to be now a different client avatar in a sense. But like you say, it brings you onto a better path. Did you ever have this thing where it felt like a better, more enjoyable personal relationship with these coaches, these wellness coaches, rather than the travel companies that you worked with before?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's, I was still a lot in a personal development journey. I was still healing so much back then. And being around these people, all of a sudden you start to understand their world better. And all of a sudden they're like, hey, you can have my training. You can go through this. I'm like, oh, thank you. And then I'm learning about yoga and I'm doing all of these trainings from amazing coaches for free because they want me to understand better what they're doing and so on. So I mean, that I know that that's, if I tell you that, how am I creating a world where we have a spiritual revolution? And I say my gift is to empower leaders to step up and help more people, and reach others and be authentic and share their gifts as much as possible. If I haven't gone through that in the past, life was always putting me on my path. Perhaps if I wasn't so stubborn and try to hold on to things just because they're safe, I could have gone with less struggles. But it's always perfect as it happens. But the universe was just putting me in my path, and that is life. Life is always happening for us. And once we let go of trying to understand and really follow whatever's coming our way, and being present and doing the best we can with everything that's being offered, I think we just move faster towards our hearts, desires, and purpose in life.
Mhm. Do you remember like a moment that you got this realization, or was it more gradual?
It was very gradual. There was a lot of ego involved. I want to tell who I help. So it was not like, wow, that's so cool, I'm doing something that feels so good to my heart. But it was more like, what's my niche?
Yeah, the classic.
I was so focused on my niche and like, oh, I'm working with all these coaches and that's who I help. Back then, I didn't step back. I'm like, man, you're doing something great. Like, this is your path. And slowly I start to go a lot inwards in my journey, doing more plant medicine and spending more time alone, and had a time that I had to leave Bali as well. And that's when things start to click. I'm like, I think I'm living my life purpose. I didn't realize, but I've been living it, and I'm on that path.
Hmm.
And I felt like at that moment, then suddenly my life just started to unfold. That I don't have control over my life. My life happens, and I'm just doing the best I can with everything that comes up my way.
Hmm.
But I just know that I'm always headed in the right direction.
Yes. Walk me through when it comes to psychedelics and that becoming a part of your life. Would you say, yeah, how life changing would you say that has been for you?
It has been the most life-changing experience. Like, I'm so grateful to psychedelics and plant medicines. I don't think this journey would have been so easy, and things would happen so fast if it wasn't that. There's just so many beautiful lessons, and it comes in such a beautiful, loving way, right? It's not like, a lot of people, I feel like they like to paint a picture on how dramatic their ayahuasca journey was, and they like to tell like everything that they went through when they were puking.
Mm.
But deep inside, it feels so good because we're just coming back to self.
Yeah.
And I feel like the more what plant medicine does to me is it strips all the layers of my illusion. And the more I go into it, when I look back, I'm like, man, I bought up so many illusions. So many illusions. Everything I was living was an illusion.
Mm.
And it didn't take me one journey, 2, 3, 10. It took me a lot more. And still, the more I do it, it's layers and layers of illusions. But the beautiful thing is that it doesn't mean there's an end goal with that.
Mm.
But the more we're able to dissolve the illusion, especially the ego, things get better. And it gets easier, it gets lighter, it gets more joyful, and peace becomes very natural. I feel like I'm more into a state of peace. Peace is my natural state.
Mm.
And sometimes I fall off and I catch myself having anxiety and worrying. I'm like, oh, all right, just do some mushrooms and clear it all out. Okay, I know what I need to do.
Yes. Yeah. Would you agree that it's correct to explain to people that who's never tried any mushrooms or any psychedelics in the right setting, environment, and with the right intentions, that all that it does is, you've basically been saying it, it helps you strip off all the limitations that's holding you back, all the social conditioning that's related to the ego, that creates these fears, doubts, insecurities, and you get to the truth. You get more to your inner core of like who you really are, without the layers. Is there anything more to add on to that?
That's it. You're not becoming anything or anyone. There's no new beliefs stewed in your head through the mushrooms. You're basically shifting everything that's not you. And your ego is going to be exposed to you, your self-judgment, your critical thinking about yourself. It just mirrors to you. And I'm like, why am I treating myself this way? Why am I holding on to these beliefs? Nothing's being put on you by the mushrooms. It's just showing you everything that's not serving you so you can let go of it. And I can say to everyone who feels skeptical and is worried about it, I was intrigued by it by my whole life, since I was like a teenager, and I was the most scared of it because I would hear stories of people who would take mushrooms and never go back to the same. Yeah, I've never been back the same, thank God. That life wasn't serving me.
That's the thing, right? Many people are afraid that you're gonna turn into a new person and you're gonna be thinking and believing things that you never believed before. That is true, but not from that perspective that you're becoming something new. It's more like you're becoming what you already are without the layers and the fluff.
And I think that's the fear for a lot of people. They're scared of who they truly are because they've been putting on a mask. So accept yourself, love yourself for who you truly are, and allow yourself to see that you've been putting on the side for so long. For me, my fear was more I would lose my mind. You know, when you see crazy hippies and like talking about, I'm like, I was really scared of that. And I never did because of it. And I had friends like, mate, it's not like that. Try it out. And I did the first time with my best friend. I was like, this feels great. Like that was like one of the best experiences of my life. And the more I did, I was like, oh my God, I found my path. You know, the more I dive into it and very respectfully knowing my limits, my boundaries, you know, even starting by doing a little bit at a time, I was like, man, I've been resisting this my whole life and I'm finding the answers I've been looking for in every journey. So it's a gift. Yeah, it's a gift from Mother Earth or whoever is bringing them to us, but it's there to help us.
It is. What would you say to anyone who's never tried it and maybe are potentially thinking about should I try? How should I try? In what way? What do I need to think about? If you were starting from scratch, how would you go about it in a safe way?
I feel it's hard for me to say because
everyone is different.
Yeah. And the place that you are, do you have people who you trust to hold space for you? Do you trust yourself to hold space for yourself? I believe you always know the answer. And the way I do it, how to make any decisions, is tuning to something that you want to do. If it feels heavy and contractive, maybe that's not the best way. If it feels light and expensive and you feel excited, do it. Your nervous system is going to tell you when you're ready. And just trust that your nervous system knows more than your brain do, and follow that.
Awesome. Your Bufo experience. So that's something different than mushrooms, right? We got mushrooms, we got ayahuasca, we got Bufo, and we got some other things as well. Can you explain like quickly the difference between them all?
So Bufo is the 5-MeO-DMT, and that is the what's the word? That's the main compound of ayahuasca, the purest form of it. And some people call it the God molecule. And basically it comes from a frog, a toad, and you inhale that in a vape. So you smoke that. And that is, if I could describe in any very simple and short way, it's an explosion of infinite consciousness and awareness into your body, where everything that is material and everything that is not real dissolves in front of your eyes. So I can see fractals, because really this reality is just an illusion that we're creating, right? My consciousness is creating everything that I'm seeing, but everything is really energy. But it's my consciousness is creating it, and we just agree upon things because yes, this is a table and it's wide. Everyone agrees, so then you start seeing it. When you take Bufo, that all dissolves. And as I say, instead of doing so much healing into, that yes, it's beautiful to do your inner child and, like your limiting beliefs and
all the shadow work.
all the shadow work that we can do. That is one way to do it, but we can go straight into the source of it. The easiest way for us to do this is what can we do that will increase our consciousness? Because sometimes we're trying to solve a problem that is here from the same level of the problem. Your mind that has created this problem is trying to solve this problem, and that might take some time. Yes, it's good to do it, but if I can just go up here from a level where I'm pure consciousness and looking at all of this, I'm like, oh my God, none of that makes sense. And Bufo allows you to simply let go of it. I'm letting go of this. I'm letting go of that. I don't want this anymore. It's not real and it's not serving me.
Yeah.
The truth is nothing's real. Like nothing is real. But what do I want to choose to sort of hold on now that will help me on my journey with no attachment? So yeah, that's Bufo for me, my experience with it.
It's really like psychedelics help you change perspective in a way, like your point of view. You had a nice analogy there. I see it as like you can have a labyrinth and you're on the ground floor in the labyrinth. Then it's going to be hard to know like which way am I going, where is the exit. But Bufo, for example, if you're above, you see the labyrinth and you see exactly the right way. Cool. Exit. That's it.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. Well, awesome. You talked about after the first handshake, which is the first dose of the Bufo, that your life kind of changed forever. Exploding into consciousness and realizing all the pain, fears, doubts, and insecurities that was trapped in your body. And you were able to let go of that, like everything that wasn't you. Maybe you don't need to share all of it, but what were a couple of things that you felt like you were able to let go of? That some people might go like, okay, cool, I can see how that's valuable and how that's maybe something that I also have that I need to let go of and I need to look at eventually.
I feel like the main thing, if I were to pick one, I let go of the struggle. I've created that thing in my head that perhaps I listened to too much Andrew Tate back then.
We all did.
yeah. But that struggle is good, and you have to go through struggles. So I was seeking struggles in my life. I want to put myself into challenge after challenges and after challenges. But I was going through a burnout, and for the first time in my life, I've started to feel depressed. My beard was always scruff, and I had bags under my eyes. I'm like, man, I'm so tired. But I had to go through that process. I wanted to push my limits, but I didn't know the way out of it. And then I'm just like, breaking my ass in working, and it's never good enough. You can work harder, you can work more. And I believe that, as a man, it's good to go through those challenges and so on. And man, I was suffering a lot. And I was still holding on to that. The moment I did Bufo, I was like, I can create from a different place. And the shaman that was holding this space for me, he was like, look, you can choose to create out of struggle and suffering and pain and hardships and forcefulness, but you can create from a place of joy and peace and presence and fun. I'm like, yeah, but as a man, it's good to have challenges. Yeah, I'm still fighting for those beliefs. And he said something that changed my life. He kept saying, like, let things come to you with ease, joy, and grace, or ease, joy, and glory, which is from a modality called access conscious bars. And then I said, yeah, but I think it's good to have challenges as a man. They build you up. And it was like, Iggy, even your challenges can come with ease, joy, and grace. And you can overcome these challenges with ease, joy, and grace. I'm like, that is so true. You're not saying no to life, not saying no to challenges. You're just choosing how you want to navigate through life.
Yeah.
At that moment, and then we go and do another hit of Bufu. So that message was so powerful. And then I do it again. I'm like, oh, I want a life of ease, joy, glory. And, when you ask and you truly want it and you're so ready to receive, then your life changes.
Yeah. It seems like that's a social conditioning that's in a lot of us, where we think like hard work equals success, and there's no way to get success without working hard. Like working hard and hustling and grinding, I mean, it's good sometimes for a certain period or like a couple hours a day. Like doing a few hard things per day is good because it breeds our character and our discipline and stuff. But we're not supposed to work hard all day or many hours a day. And took me a long time as well, as it did for you, to accept that things can actually come with a lot of ease, flow and grace and glory. And that is when we tap into nervous system that is regulated. We are thinking and feeling more abundant thoughts and higher vibrational frequency emotions. Talk to me about this when it comes to the energetics, like vibrational frequencies, and that importance when it comes to reality creation, manifesting certain things, getting the life that you want. How much do you think about that, and how do you incorporate that in your life currently?
For me, is to always follow the path of least resistance. I think energetics feel like the best way for us to be able to create the life we desire from a place of joy, grace, and excitement is by feeling good every day. So do what you need to do to feel good, not in the sense of seeking pleasure so you can feel good, feeling good within. As you said, nervous system regulation. If your body's feeling like crap, if you're not breathing properly, you're not eating properly, if you are ignoring your emotions and suppressing them, you're not going to feel good within. If you're not going to feel good within, you're going to seek feeling good somewhere else, which is going to be a distraction. Now, the thing, if we're going to look for distractions, like let's say social media scrolling, when you're feeling great, you don't say like, I want to spend 1 hour scrolling on Instagram. We only do that when we're like burned out, our brain's fried, and I'm so tired. I'm like lying down there and like, what am I doing? That makes me feel even worse. It's a cycle. If I'm not feeling good, I'm going to seek somewhere else to feel good. I know that that's not in my best interest. After doing that, I'm going to feel even worse, which is going to make me feel like I want to do more of that to make me feel good. It's a trap. We got to feel good within our own bodies. And I believe the best way to do it is by tuning in with how you feel. Allow it to be. If you're feeling uncomfortable, I sit with my discomfort until it goes away. Breath work and meditation and physical exercise. Move your body. If you feel good, you can create anything from feeling good because everything is going to be a vibrational match. So if I'm feeling great and I'm feeling excited, I'm going to create more things in my life that are great and are exciting and are matching that. So
Yes. Both you and me have been having a marketing agency in the past. That was good for a while, but we realized maybe not the most aligned path because lacking the enjoyment or the full enjoyment, maybe. So when we think about like hustle and like working hard and basically pain in one form or another, did you realize that like our subconscious is almost like self-sabotaging in a way where like how come, why would we want to grow something that as it grows it leads to more pain? Doesn't make sense, right?
Yes. I think I learned this lesson from you. I think we were having a chat the other day, and you were saying, if you are building a business and you're not enjoying it, you will never want to grow something that's not making you happy, because it means you're gonna grow something that's actually making you feel miserable. So you're gonna feel more miserable. You were the one who shared that with me, and I was like, that is so true. And I went home. I was like, where is everything that I'm trying to grow? And it's not working. And how am I feeling about this? Because, sometimes it's not your entire business, but it's just how you're generating leads. Are you doing through like cold DMs, and you hate doing cold DMs, and you say, oh, let's scale now, let's triple the amount of leads. You're not going to want to do it. So I went home after that chat and like, where's everything in my business that I'm doing and I'm not feeling good about it?
Yeah.
And how can I feel good about this? Because I would want to expand everything that it feels good. So yeah, such a good lesson.
Exactly. There's a couple of aspects in your business that might need rethinking that is more in alignment with you. And if you're like you and me, or at least me, like sending cold DMs to scaling my agency, or having more clients that I didn't fully to 100% enjoy working with, having more clients of that, it's not going to make my life better. It's going to make it worse. So then it's good to be going into this mature phase where we're taking a step back, rebuilding the business and the business model in a way that as we grow it, it's going to take us somewhere we actually want to go. When you work with your clients, what is the most common things that you see them being out of alignment of in terms of like aspects of their business? Is there anything that's...
It's so funny because, speaking to the camera, wellness coaches, you guys all go through the same thing. Everyone is so similar. All of my clients is the same struggles. Is they're wanting to create more content, but not actually doing it. Is wanting to have more structure in their business, but having everything all over the place. People who are into this industry of healing and self-development, they want to give so much. They have so many offers, and they know what they want to do, but there's no structure. So there's a lack of structure. There is a lot of judgment towards social medias and content. Am I going to be filming myself? And I was like, why are you judging that action? What if that video changes someone's life? Do you think they will judge you for filming you when you're walking in the street? No, they will thank you.
They see selling as something bad, right?
Selling. I don't like to sell, but it's like, a lot of the times, it's just the misconception that we create. Because selling for me is, hey, you're coming to me because you need help. I can help you. Now, you have a bunch of limiting beliefs that might be on the way for you to reach the life you want to reach and be successful. And I'm going to help you to connect these dots so you can take an action today that will start to change your life.
Yes.
If that's what you want, that's what selling is. I'm going to help you to change your life if that's what you want. And if you come up with some limiting beliefs, and I notice there's fear, because there's always fear of doing something new and taking action, I'm going to call you out. And we're going to see what that is. Selling is not being a car salesman trying to push something towards people. It's being in your heart, really willing and ready to serve. not from a place of needing to do it. I'm here for you, and I'm going to help you to take action.
Yeah.
If you want. If you don't want, that's totally okay. I have a bunch of free stuff. It's helpful. Go through that until you're ready. Do you want that? Yes. Okay. That is what selling is. I think selling is one of the most beautiful things that we can do.
Yeah.
I think it comes from love. It really comes from love. Like, I see you. You need this. I got you. I'm not going to let you go back to the life that you're saying you don't want to live anymore. It's my responsibility. I love sales.
It's a little small shift, right? Turning selling into serving.
Yeah,
It's just serving.
totally.
How about the content piece of, is that something you experience in your clients where people think that there's just a certain type of content that they have to do? Like, yeah, I have to do the reels. I have to talk into the camera and doing reels. But that's where I usually advise my clients of like, hey, back to alignment, meaning what would you enjoy doing? If it's not talking into the camera with doing 60 seconds reels, do you like having a conversation more longer because it feels more natural? Do you like to have a conversation like this one-on-one podcast, which is super fun in my opinion? Do you like to write things? Like, there's gotta be one type of content production that you are actually enjoying and probably really good at also. So go with that one, because that one is the thing that you can sustain, is the thing that you enjoy, is the thing that is in alignment with you, that you can see yourself looking forward to every single day.
So true. That is following the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
But then do it. You know, I think the other problem, and I go through that as well. I'm not saying, oh, I'm the best at this. I never go through this. But it's overthinking about the content.
Yeah.
I think if you are a teacher, there's going to be, or a coach or a mentor, there's going to be a lot of things that you can talk about without having to think. Because if I had a client call this morning and I said exactly this. If I ask you, hey brother, I got like some shoulder tension. Do you have like a few exercises that I could do to release that? On this spot, he would be able to help me. So why do you need a script for a reel? And why do you need to think for 3 days about a video just to give these tips? You can. You are overcomplicating and you're overthinking because there's a lot of mind here. Let go of that. Just help. Just show up as you can. Maybe it's writing, content, whatever you want to do. Just do it.
Yeah.
And I think at the early stages as well is let go of what it should be or what you would like to be. What can you do it today? Do that.
It kind of goes back to what we started with a little bit, that you are your business. Like, you don't have business problems, you have personal problems that is manifesting in your business. So I heard you speak about this a lot, where you gotta accept that you are different. Embrace that you are different, because you don't need to be anything else or anyone else than you're not. So if you can embrace your own uniqueness, then things become so much easier. First of all, it's easy to be yourself. It should be the most fun thing. And then it will probably flow more naturally, where, like you say, you don't need to overthink anymore. Just do what comes. Just be. Yes. What are some other things that you see coming up as challenges for your clients and your wellness coaches?
There's a few, right? So there's the marketing aspect of creating content, messaging. You know, I feel like a lot of people, they like to assume what is good. Oh, this messaging is the best. You know, like I'm saying that I help people to do this. I'm like, all right, how's that going for you? Oh, I haven't, no one's really engaging with my content. I haven't got any clients like that. It's feedback. So I feel a lot of people, they want to decide what's good and what's bad. And you have to, we start with an assumption. I believe people will like this, but you got to put it out every time and see how people are reacting. And if no one's reacting, it's because your messaging is not resonating with them. And that's okay. But the more you do, the more feedback you collect. And another thing that I see a lot of people in the industry struggling a lot is a lack of clarity on their offers. A lot of them are just winging it. They do a one-on-one session here, they have a mini training here, but they're not like interconnected, and they're selling session by session. And then sometimes I do the math. I'm like, okay, so what's your financial goals? No, Iggy, I would be happy with $5,000 per month on my online business. All right, it's fairly fairly easy to achieve. Now, what is your offer? Oh, I sell one-on-one sessions. How much do you charge? $200. $200. And then you say one session per client normally? Yeah, sometimes true. And you do the math, like you need about 30 clients. How many clients are you getting? Okay, so the problem here is it's not your offer, or it's not your goal, is you're not packaging things in a way that's exciting and it's easy for you to provide value. Mm-hmm. And if you think about it, you cannot change someone's life with one session, and they know it. So it's like, create something that will change people's lives. And you can charge whatever it feels right for you to do it, whatever feels good. Because if you're helping someone to change their lives, they'll be happy to pay. Yeah. I think that's the first thing that people need to fall into. Create something, and most importantly, create something that you're so proud of selling. You know, I created something that is so good, it's so helpful. I want to talk about this offer. Mm-hmm. Then I think things become a lot easier.
Super important. Create an offer that you feel proud of promoting, mm-hmm. that you know is gonna change someone's lives. And I think a problem there is like, people look at the first thing, like, I'm gonna sell one session. Like, what is the end goal, the end outcome for your client? Yeah, it's getting this transformation. Cool. How long do you think you need? How long do you think you need in order to give them that transformation, mm-hmm. or help them transform in that way? Yeah, maybe like 3 months, possibly 4, just to be safe. Mm-hmm. Cool. Make a 4-month program. Mm-hmm. And now, how many sessions and stuff is needed in that 4-month program? Yeah, maybe once a week. Nice. That's 16 sessions. Mm-hmm. What should that be worth? The transformation, what should that be worth? The time for you, 16 sessions, what should that be worth? Mm-hmm. Now we're talking and we're getting more into mm-hmm. the clarity details of what your offer should be. Mm-hmm. And it needs to be an aligned one in every way for your clients and for you.
Yeah. And the thing is, for a lot of my clients, when they are on that, really what they need is one client a month. Mm-hmm. And they're pretty much close to hit their financial goals. Mm-hmm. I'm like, can you get one client a month? You can. It's not that hard. But sometimes we all know what we have to do. I could go to someone and say, like, just do that. Create an offer that's going to change someone's life. We're telling them exactly what they need to do. But a lot of times we just need someone to sit with us and reflect. And that is the beauty of having a coach or a mentor. Man, I know a lot of things that I need to do, but sometimes I feel stuck. The moment I have someone reflecting that back to me and helping me to think clearly, I get there. Yeah. So sometimes there's no one giving you, a crazy new information. I'm just helping you to gain clarity and move in the right direction.
Exactly. Working on the right things, or working on the right problems in the right order. Mm-hmm. We go like, fuck, I have these 5-6 problems, and like, I need to work on all of them at the same time. And no. Like, this one first, then that one, then that one. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, mentors, life-changing.
Yeah.
How important has that been for you when it comes to like the people you surround yourself with here in Bali? Whether that's mentors, whether it's friends, a high-level group of people, circle.
I mean, community is everything. It's all about community. It's all about connections. There's no other way. I've tried to be the lonely wolf for a long time. Likewise. It can only go so far alone. And it's not that far. Yeah, I feel like in Bali, we're so blessed to have so many like-minded people. We come here, a lot of us, because of principles, right? Now, these are my life principles, and this freedom comes first to me. And it goes from there, right? And then, okay, oh, you also have a business. Wow, you also want to help humanity. How are you helping humanity? We connect with amazing people. I was at dinner yesterday with Ray and James and my partner, Ella, and a few friends. Um, I felt so inspired just by having dinner with amazing people. You know, I went home, I was like, wow, I feel like refreshed. Just being around great people makes you feel great about what you're doing and taking action. I had a big resistance to community a long time in my life. I felt like I never found my people. So I never resonated with this spiritual community. It was like, I like a lot of things that you guys do, but you know, there's a lack of resonance. I feel there's a lot of talking, not much doing. Then I also never resonated with the whole like hustle, entrepreneur, you know, like Luke Belmars, you know, those kids. I went to like some events. I was like, that's not my space. So I was a lot, even though I wanted community, I could never connect. So I was like, I better just be alone than trying to force something that doesn't feel what I resonate with.
Mm.
And then it was very recently that I started to meet people like yourself. You know, we met what, about a year and a half ago, 2 years? It was
Yeah.
New Year's Eve. Yeah, I think 2 years.
Yeah. No, no, no.
No,
Now
1
it's
year.
9 months ago. Yeah. Now it's September.
Well, Ella's just pregnant.
Mm.
True. Well,
Mm.
and yeah, so I met people who are, you know, they are spiritual. They do the work. They walk the talk, and they love business. And they see that business is the way to, you know, be able to help more people, is by having a successful business that is providing for you, for your family, for your community, and you can give back 2, 3 times as more.
Mm.
And if I am living the life I'm living today, it's a lot thanks to the community that I have around me, amazing people I have around me. Yeah.
This is an interesting topic of how one surrounds themselves with the right people, because I felt like you also, like for the longest time, that like I don't resonate with this person or this person or this community, and like same, the only option is to be by myself. But then for some reason, like of course I kept on looking for it, and then eventually I meet people like yourself at
Mhm.
New Year's Eve, because common friends of ours are putting us together basically, and
Mhm.
I guess the universe are, yeah, pulling us together.
Mhm.
But if I were to give advice to myself, and I'm curious of what you would say to yourself, I'm like, it's shifting that belief of that there are people out there who are exactly like you and that you would resonate with and love hanging out with. There are those people. So just keep on looking. Like, don't give up on that fact that, like, I don't know, is there something wrong with me?
Mhm.
Am I different? Am I the one that's something off with? No, it's not.
Mhm.
Just listen to your gut feeling that you're not resonating with certain people for a reason, and there
Mhm.
are people out there that you would resonate fully with.
Mhm.
What would you say to yourself?
Yeah, man, it's exactly that. There are people that you're looking for out there, for sure. And if you're not resonating with anyone around you, and that was the biggest realization I had in my life when I felt my life really started to take off, I need to carve my own path. I've been looking for the path and I'm not finding. When I started to carve my own path, it's almost like the path that I started to carve led me into the path that was already here. And then I started to meet a bunch of people doing that. You need to be unique. You need to do your thing. So sometimes being alone for a while is exactly what you need. And embrace your authenticity, your uniqueness, and carve your path. And that's going to lead you to the people that you're looking for.
Mm. It's almost like it makes me think that like like the universe, like you're not ready to receive until you have taken ownership yourself to go on your path.
Yeah.
As soon as you do that, I can see you're ready to receive. Here we go. Let me put some more people on that same path because now you're ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So true.
Where do you see yourself, your visions, your goals, your aspirations and dreams for the next 1-2 years?
I don't think that far ahead. um, I the way I manifest, I would say it's really a feeling. I can only feel my presence. I've I've started to move into more impacting larger audiences. So I really see myself with leading large groups of people, and I'm talking about hundreds. I'm not sure what that's going to look like yet. If it's going to be through a community or through workshops. Definitely community. Community is a big part of it. But I feel like I'm just day by day doing the best I can at every moment. I stopped to think so much about the future, and I'm so focused on what is the best thing that I can do now. I had a big lesson recently about it, but it's just ingrained even more. And I know that if every moment of my life I am doing the best I can do, I can pretty much predict my future, which is going to be great. Now, I do want to as well do some more projects in Bali, very conscious property places where people can connect with themselves and nature. That is on the map, it's on the radar. And when I think about the future, I can just tune into a lot of people being grateful for what I've done for them. Not from a place of ego, but I just feel like I feel happy that I'm stepping up and I'm helping more and more people. And I think how the universe is gonna unfold that in my life and what that's gonna look like, I don't know. But that feeling will be there of gifting others, giving value in a larger scale.
Such a mature way of thinking, I think. Staying in the present. What's the best thing I can do now? Rather than being too much in the future. And trusting that the future will be exactly what it should be. Yeah, trusting the process, trusting the source, the universe, the mushrooms to guide you, right? You recently become...
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Where do you see yourself in 1, 2, 3 years from now?
The lessons that's been on my mind lately and now in the present is basically, in simplicity, in one sentence. I want to stop doing anything that I don't enjoy doing. So it's like fully embodying this principle that I never want to try to grow my business or making more money or working with more clients if it comes on the sacrifice of my internal freedom or my alignment or my sense of excitement and having fun and enjoying it and feeling fulfilled about it. And that leads me to taking action in a certain way where, like, I really enjoy doing YouTube videos now, for example, and talking very freely about anything that's truly on my mind. Likewise with these podcasts, I was like, what is something that I can keep on doing for not only the next 10 years, but for a lifetime? Podcast is it. I love sitting down one-on-one like this, having a deep conversation. Super fun. I also think, like, ironically, I mean, not that I'm there yet, but I think it's a nice momentum so far where more and more people are reaching out and saying they really appreciate the podcast, a lot of value. So that's very encouraging and it's super fun. And yeah, it just becomes this North Star of like, what do I really enjoy? Like you said before, right? That's a great framework. What feels light and exciting?
Mhm.
Let's do more of that.
Mm.
And the rest will just unfold in the most magical, beautiful way, I believe in.
Awesome, man.
Yeah. And happy to go on this journey with you and many others.
Yeah. So grateful.
What does deeply aligned mean to you?
Mm. I say it's just feeling good. If it's aligned, it feels good. It feels light.
Yeah. Simple as that. Simple as that.
So simple.
Is there anything you would like us to talk about that we haven't covered yet?
I would say a lot about alignment as well is we always know what is the right thing to do. We always know what the best thing to do is. Sometimes we don't know the best of the best, but we know what's the best thing that we can do. And alignment is that. What is the best thing you can do now? Because the moment that you know there's the best thing that you can do, but you choose to do something that is not that, you're moving yourself out of alignment. And I think being in alignment is being at your highest potential here and now. So always making the right decisions. The right decisions is the best thing that you can do. Feels light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish, I mean, it all happens for a reason, but yeah, if there's anything I would like to tell like my younger self, like in the teenage years,
Mm-hmm.
it is that, like, stop for a second and remove all of these like thoughts that you have, like what you should do, whether that's like going through school or getting a certain job or whatever. Like, stop for a second, just think like, what do you feel like doing? And not just like feel like doing today, but like if you could dream a bit, like what do you feel like doing on a longer term basis, if anything was possible, and what does your gut feeling say? Feel into that.
Mm-hmm.
What would excite you? And feel free to go with that
Mm-hmm.
a lot more.
Yeah.
Like, it might be like it happened for you, like where you feel I'm seeking for something different. I know that working at a bar and this is not it anymore. So I'm gonna obviously have to do this side job for a bit to keep things afloat with paying my bills and expenses.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, I'm also gonna go with this that excites me, and I want to figure this out. I want to learn more about this. I want to
Mm-hmm.
figure out how to make money online and get more freedom. Like, that is the difference between like gut feeling, follow your intuition, what you would be excited about doing, and the other one, like, okay, maybe I need to do a few things that's temporarily not the thing that I want to do the most, but
Mm-hmm.
I still have this in mind.
Mm-hmm.
If I dream big and not letting anything stop me and hold me back. That is like something I want to get across
Mm-hmm.
in general. Where like, guys, like, follow your own path.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have the courage to go after what you want yourself, what you truly want yourself. Not listening to others, not listening to what your parents have told you, what your friends are saying is the right thing to do. What do you think yourself? What do you feel yourself is the right thing for you? Like, that is your truth, truly. Where can people find you if they want to know more about your world? And
Yeah, well, Instagram at Awaken with Iggy, and also on YouTube, getting on YouTube now. And that is, I need to change my handle to the same as my Instagram, but right now is Iggy Awaken. Iggy Awakens.
yeah,
So yeah, Instagram, YouTube, and in Bali. Meet me up in the cafes here in Kedungku Beach. That's where I hang out the most.
yes.
Um, yeah, man.
It's been a pleasure. having this call, my man. Many more to come.
Likewise.
Appreciate you.
Thanks, brother. So good. Shall we do the thing again? That was a bit sloppy.
That's better. Get the real handshake.
Yeah, can you even put that on black and white?
Yeah. That's not how you do handshake. That's how you do it. Boom.
I was hoping that would be a slap and